And we are live. Welcome everybody for this live stream where we're gonna talk of any question that you may have about our upcoming Solidity Bootcamp on May 20th. So this month we have our next call of the Solidity Bootcamp. So if you're on the fence, you're considering joining but you're not quite sure, then this live stream is for you. So if you are new here on the channel, I'm Julian. I'm the founder of EatTheBlocks. So I'm a blockchain developer. I've been working with this technology since 2017 and on a daily basis. I've done many blockchain projects and I've taught more than 15,000 students with my bootcamp. So we are going to answer any questions today. So we have already a couple of people in the chat. We have Paul, we have Nick Neon. Where you guys are from, let me know. So for those who have never seen the bootcamp, I'm going to share with you the link in the chat. All right, so you have the link in the chat. Okay, some more people in the chat. THX. All right, it's good to see some people who come here often. All right, so let me start the presentation. Let me change my screen. Okay, so we're going to group the question in 3 parts. So a question about what happened after the bootcamp, questions during the bootcamp, and a question before the bootcamp, before you join. And after that, it's going to be an open Q&A. You can ask any other question that you want. All right, so let's get started with after the bootcamp. Once you complete it, what can you expect? Very good question. So what is the main outcome of the bootcamp? Okay, so after the bootcamp, you will be able to code Solidity smart contracts at a professional level. Okay, so we're not talking of someone who can do amateurish things. No. We're really going to tackle advanced subject, advanced topic in Solidity, so you will be a pro. And thanks to that, you will be job ready for freelance gig. So you will be able to get your first freelance gig. And with the first freelance gig, you're pretty much guaranteed to cover the price of the bootcamp, because really in terms of freelance gig, it can start at around $500, $1,000 really for the cheapest one. So the bootcamp is $750. So yeah, if you make, let's say $1,000, you already cover the bootcamp. And then from there, any other freelance gigs that you have is just pure profit. And then down the road, when we're talking of 6 months or 1 year after the bootcamp, then you can hope of finding a full-time job if that's what you want. But you can also thrive as a freelancer like I did. All right, so then second question, can we find a freelance gig as a junior? So there are different level of difficulty when you're getting started, and getting a freelance gig is the lowest level of difficulty. So even if the lowest of difficulty, you still cannot find a job as junior, I don't know what will really. So yeah, of course, you can find a freelance gig as a junior. That's the whole point of going freelance, is because you have a wide range of customer, including a lot of customers that are not as demanding as companies that hire on a full-time basis. So freelancing, absolutely the best choice for getting started. You have so many people who go straight to try to find full-time job and they struggle with it. But if they go through the freelancing phase, everything just makes so much more sense. Now, do we have any testimonial? Because so far I'm making big claims, but do we have anything to justify it? And it turns out yes, because we've been running this bootcamp for a while now. So here a couple of students. This guy here who got a Solidity job in 2 months. So here, just want to manage your expectations. So this is not typical. This person already had a background of dev, so I don't think that anybody who followed the bootcamp will find a Solidity job in 2 months. Here I'm talking of a full-time job, okay? But it's still nice to see this outcome. Another student here tried learning with Udemy courses but didn't get it, and with the Eat the Blocks bootcamp, this student finally got it. Someone find the first Solidity job after our training. Someone got 2 offers from employers. Someone became another blockchain developer at a big blockchain company. Then you had a couple of blockchain dev who created their own project, like this developer from Microsoft. We had people who created their own project, also FutureSwap, that's a DeFi protocol, and Secure Finance, that's the API for blockchain. So yeah, like really different sort of outcome. People who went to with full-time job, and others who created their own project. And if you go on the website of the page, on the page of the bootcamp, you'll find even more students' testimonial. All right. So, how much money can I make as a Solidity developer? Very good question. So it depends on different factors. Of course, what is your level of seniority in Solidity? What is your coding background? Are you starting from scratch before Solidity or not? What niche you choose, because even within Solidity, it's possible to niche down even more. And then whether you're doing this as a freelance or as an employee. So let's start with if you start as a freelancer and you are a beginner. So you can expect pretty fast to make between $1,000 to a few $1,000s per month, which is okay-ish for a beginner, but long-term it's not great. And within 6 months to 1 year, basically you can go anywhere between 5K to 10K, depending on how good you are. And it's not really something impossible. Freelancing, going to 10K, really, if you give yourself enough time, it's completely doable. And after that, beyond that, really the sky's the limit. You can go much, much higher than this. And then when you work as a full-time Solidity developer, so for junior, salaries start at 100K per year. And when you're senior, it can go much higher than this. So 150, 200, 300, etc. But that's not for beginners, of course. But when you're getting into this, really, you are making a long-term choice. So you have to consider long-term when what's going to happen. Like, don't enter this if you just have like short-term ambition. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's something where you have to commit. I see some question in the chat already, so don't worry guys, I will answer everything. At the end, we'll do an open Q&A, but now we'll just go through first my list of questions. So how is the job market of Solidity in 2024? Very good question. So right now we're still in the bull market, even though temporarily there is a little dip in the crypto market. So yeah, it's very good. Really, if you go on the website like Upwork, just type Solidity, type Ethereum or blockchain, and you will see how many results you have. I've just done it yesterday, and there were many results. So absolutely no problem for the job market on the freelance side. The type of companies that hire, basically, you have Web3 companies and Web2 companies. So Web3 companies, you have DeFi protocols, you have NFT protocols, you have blockchain games, you have DAOs. On the trading side, you have centralized exchanges like Coinbase. You have companies that do crypto payments. And you also have, so you have smaller projects that just want to launch a token, for example, which is great for beginners because you want to start with a smaller customer. Then the other kind of companies, Web2 companies. So you have big Web2 companies like PayPal, like Stripe, that are getting into crypto. So this is, especially if you already have a Web2 background, this can be a good target. And then you have agencies, development agencies that focus on Web3. So because you have basically some project that want to build something, but I don't have the technical skills and I don't want to hire full-time employees, so they're going through those development agencies. And usually development agencies, they, in terms of requirements, is also a little bit lower compared to compared to the end customer that actually run the product. So great for beginners as well. Then how can you find your first freelance gig? So I mentioned Upwork. This is a freelancing platform that's great. Then you have a couple of other freelancing platform. One that I did in the past was Code Mentor. Code Mentor, you can get started as a beginner, no problem. And then you have some job board just for crypto, like Crypto Job List, Web3 Career. And then you have general job board like LinkedIn, Indeed. So on those job board, in general, you have more full-time job, not so many contracts. But sometimes you also find some freelancing gigs over there. All right, so that's for the platform. And then you have also all the different in real life meetup that you can go, where it can be any meetup about blockchain, about Web3. It's a great way to meet potential customers, especially the meetups where there are no developers, where it's just non-technical person, because maybe you'll meet an entrepreneur who want to do something, and if you here at the right place, right time, like I did, once I just went to a meetup and I found my first freelance gig just like that. Someone asked me, hey, are you a dev? I say, yes. I'm like, all right, do you want to work for me? And that was it. So many ways to find your first freelance gig. Now, what if the crypto market crash? Because right now we're still in the bull market. What if everything goes south, everything turns bad? What do we do? So first of all, I don't think this is going to happen, because right now we enter a more mature phase of crypto, where basically they're going to be maybe less volatility, because we have a lot of players in the space. So I think that's extremely unlikely. But even if it happened, basically blockchain is a long-term trend. So it doesn't depend on the crypto market. There is a correlation to the crypto market. So when it's the bull market, it's always better. But if that's not the case, we can see that the jobs don't just collapse. The blockchain tech just keeps growing. So that's something important to know. So after the bootcamp, do we get any support, or everything is just finished? So yes, you do get support. So we will offer you a free review for your online profile, which is so important. So you'll get a free review for Upwork, for GitHub, and LinkedIn, so that you are sure that your marketing is good. Then do we get a certificate after the bootcamp? Yes, you do. And you can put this on your LinkedIn. Then do we keep access to the material after the bootcamp? Yes. So if you want to review anything, still there. You also keep access to our private Discord community, which is very valuable. Sometimes we send some freelance gig that are sent to us by email. So some exclusive opportunities that aren't shared anywhere else. So I've explained what happened after the bootcamp, but now what about during the bootcamp? First, let's see how the bootcamp works. So the bootcamp is 4 modules. Each module is 1 week long. So you are going to have mostly live classes plus homework. So live classes that will work with Zoom calls, and so you'll have lessons. And after the lesson, you have live exercises. For example, we will tell you what to code, then you have 10 minutes to code it, and then you're going to submit your solution, and then we're going to discuss everybody's solution, see what are your mistakes, what you did right. And after the live classes, we have homeworks, so you'll have exercise to do, and you'll have several days to do it, so enough time, no problem. And so usually homework are a little bit more advanced than exercise. They challenge you a little bit, but that's good because this is how you learn really. And you will submit the homework in our Discord. And then we are going to create a thread for your homework, and we're gonna give you feedback like this. So you really get individual one-on-one feedback for your code, which is the best way to learn, really. So when are the live classes? Very important question. So the bootcamp start on May 20th up to June 14. Then the live classes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. So depending on your time zone, so 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. East Coast time, 6 p.m. Central European time, and 12 a.m. China Standard Times, or if you're in Asia. Now, what if you're not available during the live classes? Maybe you have some work, maybe you have something to do. So you can still take the bootcamp, and we always have like about 1/3 of the students that are in this case, because you can still follow asynchronously, because you will have access to the recordings of each live session. You have access to our Discord, and all the homework are done asynchronously. So some people follow in async mode, and that's totally fine. Then how much time do you need for the bootcamp? So between the live classes and between the homework, you will need about 10 hours per week. What kind of support do we get? So during the live classes, you can ask any question you want. So this is a Zoom call. You can talk, you can use the chat, no problem. And then when you submit your homework, so you're also gonna have a one-on-one support. We're gonna comment on your code, and then also on Discord, if you have any other question between the classes, feel free to post something. We'll get back to you. How many students per cohort? So it's 30 people. So really 30 people. We've tried different numbers, and that's just the sweet spot, because it's just enough that you have some sort of group dynamic. So some people start to make friends, etc., which I think is one of something very, very valuable. And at the same time, it's also not too much, so that the instructor can still give you enough attention. So that's basically the sweet spot. What is included exactly in the bootcamp? So you have the core curriculum, so all the live classes. Then you'll have the code reviews. You have the lecture recordings. You have a lifetime access to our Discord community. And you have a free review of your Upwork, LinkedIn, and GitHub profile, which is extremely valuable to help you get started. Which technologies are covered? So Ethereum, because this is most of the job market is there. Solidity, same thing for most smart contract project. People use Solidity, and Foundry. So that's a framework for smart contract. And right now, that is the most in-demand skill. There are different frameworks for smart contract, but Foundry, really, this is the best one. When you put this on your CV, people know that you were a good Solidity developer. We cover these technologies. So what is the detailed curriculum of the bootcamp? So good question. So let me show you this. So there are 4 modules. So we start Solidity Beginner, Introduction to the Blockchain and Ethereum. What are blocks, transaction, wallet, private keys, how to use the Blockchain Explorer. Then we start with Solidity. So what are the main tools for Solidity development? What is the basic layout of a smart contract, function, variable, how to manipulate Ether. And then the next week, Solidity Intermediate. So we see some advanced Solidity pattern, like smart contract update, oracles. Then we spend a whole whole live class on deployment, because deploying a smart contract can be a little bit challenging. So that's why we spend enough time on this. We teach you how to publish to deploy to public testnet, to mainnet. You know, that's funny. There are many beginner in smart contract. They learn Solidity and then they don't know how to do a deployment. And then of course the customer will ask them to deploy it, and they are lost, because when you deploy, you manipulate real money. So you don't want to make a mistake But fortunately, without training, you won't have this problem. Then we're gonna spend another full day on testing smart contract. So, when you deploy smart contract, it's not possible to change anything. So you need to make sure that they work. And usually writing tests is a big part of a smart contract project. So we will teach you everything you need to know about testing smart contract. Then the third week is going to be Solidity Advanced. So we're going to see some really interesting topic like YEL, which is a low-level dialect of Solidity. And that is great to learn the Ethereum virtual machine in depth. Really, there are very few other Solidity dev that actually know this, at least not for beginner ones. So that's really a great way to get ahead of the competition. We're also going to teach you gas optimization. So basically how to reduce the transaction fee of a smart contract. And you're also going to have a training on smart contract security so that you know how to produce a safe smart contract. And when you offer your services to customers, that's really a great thing to have on your CV. You're not just a code monkey, but you also have some notions of security. And finally, the last week, this is going to be a special module. So this is just for this bootcamp. You're going to create an ERC20 token, and basically with this, you will be able to get your first 1,000 project as a freelancer. So you know something very, very specific that you can offer as a service. So on YouTube, you can already find some tutorial about this, but the problem is that in this tutorial, they are missing the crucial details, the actual thing that a customer will ask you. So we will cover everything, like tokenomics, for example, how to decide on the different parameter of a token, super important. How to code an ERC20 token, including with the customization, because usually people don't ask you just to copy and paste the tutorial example. They already know how to do that, but there are already some customization. And if you don't understand how to do this, you're done. You'll never get the project. Then what to do before deploying, there are a few things to do. How to deploy the ERC20 token, what are different mechanisms for distribution like ICO, airdrop, fair launch, and how to create a liquidity pool, how to burn the liquidity, provide liquidity to Uniswap. So those things, when you can offer everything as a package, then it just becomes so much more interesting for a customer, because now you actually know how to do everything. They can really trust you, and that's how you get your foot in the door. And from there, you will be able to get projects that are more and more advanced. So that's basically how the curriculum is structured. So what kind of project will we work on? So many different kind of project, but I'm just going to give you a couple of them. So decentralized, voting smart contract, multi-sig wallets, a game, token, of course, ICO, decentralized marketplaces. So all the important project that you need to do when you learn Solidity, we're going to do all of them. But the most important, I believe, is the final token project we're going to do together. Is the material up to date? So yes, everything, all the material is updated after each cohort. So you always have the latest version of Solidity of every tool. Nothing is old. Is there anything special about this cohort? So absolutely. So this cohort is very different from all the others we did before and all the future cohort, because this is for complete beginners. This is ideal to get your first freelance gig. So we're not targeting a full-time job, but we are targeting a first freelance gig, which is realistic for beginner. And we will probably not redo this cohort. So this is a special edition. If you're a complete beginner, it's now or never. Who are the instructors? So that is very important. So first of all, I will be one of the instructors. So yeah, I already gave myself intro before, but yeah, very briefly, I'm a blockchain dev since 2017. I work on many blockchain projects as a full-time employee, as a freelancer. I've deployed my own token, and I've done countless tutorials here on YouTube. Then we have Damien, who is a senior Solidity smart contract dev with more than 10 years of experience as a dev. So a very experienced dev that is Damien. You can really push him deeply technically. He will know, he will have all the answer. And then we have Anthony, another great Solidity developer who work for a blockchain company presently, and we also have a lot of experience building many kind of blockchain project. All right. So next, what is different compared to existing video courses? So first of all, the material is up to date. Like I mentioned before, the big issue with video courses is that because everything is set in stone, it's very difficult to update them. After the very second that they are released, they go out of date just right away. And in blockchain, everything moves so fast. And so most of the video courses that you see, they are the free one, the paid one, they are outdated, the YouTube tutorials, etc. Then in the bootcamp, we have an active learning style. So instead of just watching something passively, which is not very conducive to learning, you actually engage. You have to actually do something. And so for students, this is really something very, very efficient for learning, much better than passive learning. You get feedback. So once you code, you actually get feedback on your code. And this is how people learn something. For example, when you're a kid and you learn how to speak, you learn thanks to feedback. You try to say something, blah, 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 and it's not good, and your parent give you feedback. Oh, that's the same for coding, for anything. So you only can get this in a bootcamp. Unfortunately, with video course, zero feedback. You get support also. If you're stuck somewhere, you won't spend days not doing what to do. You can ask questions to us. And then you work with a cohort of people, which is really motivating because everybody is on the same boat. Everybody want to make progress, and you can meet people. So this is something that is super important. All right. So now we are going to talk of what happened. What about before the bootcamp, before you join? So you probably have a couple of questions. So is there any prerequisite? No, this is a bootcamp for beginners. So you don't need to have any experience with another programming language. If you do, that's great. But if you don't, that's fine. We only focus on one language, okay, which is Solidity. So as a beginner, it's actually much easier because the scope of what we're going to study is actually pretty narrow. We only study one thing, but we're going to study it well. We go in depth. Instead of other programs where, for example, if you want to be a full stack blockchain developer, there are many things you need to do, like front end, smart contract, JavaScript, HTML, etc. In our case, we just do the smart contract, so we just need one language, Solidity, much easier for beginner. Is there any computer requirement? So you just need to have a recent operating system. So the last 4 or 5 years should be okay. Any recent version of Mac OS, Windows or Linux, doesn't matter. It works everywhere. What about the payment option? So we have full payment by credit card. We have a payment plan by credit card, and we also have a crypto payments, and so everything is on the page of the bootcamp. What happened after I make the purchase? So you will get access to the onboarding page where you're gonna have some instruction. So you'll have link to join our Discord, link to add our Google Calendar, to have the Zoom link. Everything will be explained to you, and then on May 20, we get started. And in the meantime, you can already start to talk to us in Discord. Are there any guarantees? Yes. So we offer 7-day money-back guarantee. So after the start of the bootcamp, you have up to 7 days to ask a refund if you feel like it's not for you. So really, you don't take any risk. And can I get a discount? So straight question and straight answer, no. And to be transparent, the price is actually going up after each cohort. So we don't recommend to wait because this is going to be even more expensive. Now, this being said, we also have a payment plan available. So if you cannot pay everything now, there's still some possibilities. All right, so I'm gonna take all the questions of the bootcamp, but first of all, just want to show you the page. So if you want to register, by the way, you have only until Friday, because after Friday, the enrollment will be stopped. So you go to eattheblocks.com/bootcamp. So I'm gonna put this in the chat. Let me see. So in the chat, all right. And basically you click on enroll today. And then so you click on enroll now, and it's going to take you to the checkout page. If you want to pay in crypto, you click here, and you're going to have instruction for how to do it. It's very simple. You just send crypto to our address, then you send us an email with a link to the transaction, and that's it. So now, is there any question? So let me see. Let me see the chat here. So try mindset. How can I join EatTheBlocks as a subject matter expert? I don't know what that is. Do you mean join as an instructor? I don't know if that's what you mean. So right now, we have all instructor that we need. But if you feel like you can contribute, you can just send us an email and tell us what's your expertise. Alexander Almeida, I've recently discovered your channel, but I noticed some of your content is very similar to that. No, so okay, so this I'm not sure. Basically, this bootcamp. So I'm not promising for this bootcamp. I'm not promising a 6-figure job. I'm promising a your first freelance gig. So which is completely different. So this is, I don't think on this other channel they talk about this. So this bootcamp, this is really for your first freelance gig that you can make roughly $1,000. So yes, this is something realistic. This is not something crazy, outlandish. Many people start like this. Yeah, so the outcome that I'm promising is very realistic. Nick Neon, is there a pathway to make income with open source after doing this course? Yeah, so you'll have enough skill to contribute to open source project. Now, the problem is that in general, open source is a really bad way to make money. Open source is great if you have a long-term perspective. So if you work on an open source project for, let's say, months, if not years, and it's an open source project that is quite famous, this is going to be great, very beneficial for your career, but you'll have to be really patient. So I don't necessarily recommend this to total beginner because it really takes a lot of time. Paul, when you say beginner, do you mean with Solidity or generally as a developer? I mean with Solidity. Yeah, Solidity beginner. Niraj, so where can I apply for jobs as a fresher? Mostly platforms have jobs that require 2 or 3 years of experience. So for this bootcamp is specifically for freelance gigs, so not directly relevant to this bootcamp. But there are plenty of jobs outside of the US. Yeah, but if you're a beginner, start with freelance. It's just easier. Rahul, I have little knowledge of JavaScript. What I have to do? I don't have knowledge of HTML and CSS. Yeah, so that's okay because we just cover Solidity, so we don't need the front end. So we don't need JavaScript, we don't need HTML, we don't need CSS. So this is fine. Alexander Almeida, do you provide any sneak peek into the bootcamp content? Do we provide any sneak peek? Well. Let me see. Where do we have this? Okay, let me try to do something. I'm going to log in to our platform and I'm going to give you a sneak peek. So just wait a second. Just gonna find this. So let me find this curriculum preview. All right, so here, let me put this on the screen. So I think you guys should see this. So yes, that's the last cohort, for example. So here's day one. So here you have a couple of links, for example, for the exercise, some useful links. Then
welcome to the bootcamp.
Okay, this is the recording here. So you have access to the recording, then you have access to the PDF of the presentation. Here the PDF looks like this, for example. Then yeah, so this is, for example, that's the first day, and then like here you have access to day two. So day two we have a lot of coding exercise, yeah, so that was a sneak peek to the bootcamp. All right, now next question, Archapoda, I'm an experienced developer. I want to switch to blockchain for a long time. How this bootcamp will help me? Yeah, so this bootcamp will be perfect in your case because after this bootcamp, you'll have a very specific skill in the blockchain industry, which is Solidity, and you'll know how to deploy a token from A to Z, which will allow you to get your first paid gig in the space. And then once you have this paid gig, then everything will be so much easier. So for someone like you, this is this is a really good fit. Alexander, Discord 5, as time and tech evolve, do you update the content? Do we have access to that? Yes. So basically, you'll keep access to the material of the bootcamp, and you'll keep access to the latest version of it. Nick Neon, I think a way that could work. I'm in Thailand. Yeah, you can follow asynchronously if you want. Paul Simpson, do you provide an intro to other crypto languages? No. So we stay focused on Solidity. So basically, in the past, I started EatTheBlocks in 2017, and we try many things. We try to teach all sort of things, and so blockchain is so dynamic. You always have like some new tech, but the problem is like a lot of this new tech, the ecosystem is just so small. The development tools are not very mature. The professional opportunities are so small. So in the end, it's mostly a waste of time. Like, just stay focused on Solidity. That's the biggest language, really. So not really hyper focused on this one because this is where we saw the best outcome for our students. All right. Then THX, it looks like we are back to Wednesday streams. Yeah. If I will try to do 2 streams a week now. Madrick, is there any same bootcamp after this? So we have bootcamps every 1.5 months, but this is a special edition for total beginners and specialized for freelancing. So the program of this bootcamp is a little bit different from the others. So we will probably we will have other bootcamp, but they will not be exactly like this one. Rahul, I have little knowledge of JavaScript. What I have to do else before starting Solidity like React? Yeah, as I mentioned before, you don't need anything else. You can come as a complete beginner. Paul, I'm looking at the enrollment page. You mentioned a payment plan. I cannot see this as an option. So, okay, let me give you 1 second. The payment option is hidden. So I'm gonna give you this right now. Let me check in my. Check. Okay, so the payment plan, if you want it, is here. Payment plan is here. Oh, I didn't copy properly. Let me see. Just let me try again. Payment plan. Just give me a sec. I'm doing some live Control C, Control V, but you know I'm under pressure, so I don't do it well. Okay, now it's the right link. All right. So what else do we have? Paul, you mentioned creating a token at the end that is worth $1,000. Is that more or less a guaranteed sell? So I didn't say the token was worth 1,000. I mean the project, you can probably make $1,000 with the project like this. Is that more or less a guaranteed sell? Listen, I can never guarantee 100% what you're gonna get, but I would say at 99%, I don't see why it wouldn't work. Really, if you give yourself a couple of months, really, like you are on seriously applying to jobs on Upwork, like you will get a project like this. It has to happen. We're not talking of a 6-figure job, okay? Kevin, hey, I just joined, so I don't know if someone asked, but how long do we have between pull requests if I'm able to code for a week? Oh, you mean like after you submit a homework? So we prefer if you can respect the deadline, but if exceptionally you cannot respect it, we can find some arrangement. But don't worry, we'll find a way. So anyway, if you just joined, you saw some Karin, welcome on board. Okay, so I think we reached the end of the questions. So is there any other last questions about our bootcamp? So just to recap, this is a 1-month bootcamp to become a Solidity developer. And it's going to start on May 20th, so about 1 week and a half now. And enrollment ends at the end of the week on Friday. Okay, guys, I see no more question, so we are going to stop here. Okay, so thanks everybody for joining, and if in the future you guys still have questions, you can email me, Julian at EatTheBlocks.com. Let me type this in the chat. EatTheBlocks.com. Okay, thanks for coming, everybody, and see you soon for the bootcamp. All right, bye.